Ugandan health authorities have beefed up Mpox surveillance at their common border points as the number of infections in the region increases. Truck drivers are now forced to wait for long hours in the Kenyan county of Busia just to be cleared. CGTN's Nick Mudimba has more.
Long queues of trucks, up to 30 kilometers long. This time round, however, there are no logistical issues. The truck drivers are waiting to be cleared by the medical teams at the Malaba one-stop border point. New measures put in place by health officials to curb the spread of the Mpox virus mean crossing the Kenya-Uganda border now takes much longer. And drivers who had only planned for normal crossing say they've been hit hard. Joel Kingori, a seasoned long-distance truck driver, says everything has changed since the first few cases of Mpox were reported in Kenya.
We are not even interacting with drivers from the affected countries because of the stigma. We are just talking from a distance and taking precautions. We used to sit and eat together previously, but now we are told by health officials to wash our hands and keep distance from the other drivers who are coming from the affected areas, which is unfortunate because some are our friends.
The Kenyan and Ugandan health ministries have beefed up surveillance at the Busia border point. Not only the truck drivers are subjected to the mandatory checks here at the border, but everyone coming in from Uganda is supposed to be checked properly. So the port health official will ask anyone how they're feeling, if they've experienced any signs and symptoms of Mpox. And before that, temperatures are taken, and of course a questionnaire is given for you to answer some questions before you're now allowed to cross to the other side of Kenya. Despite the measures, some local residents say they're witnessing many people from the affected countries moving freely between Kenya and Uganda at the border towns of Malaba and Busia.
Unapata ni kwamba these long distance drivers.
The risk here mostly is that these long-distance drivers interact with a lot of locals within the county, and these locals end up going to their villages, risking the lives of many vulnerable people.
Local members.
Medical teams say they're doing their best to ensure cases of Mpox do not spread. They are, however, worried that the continued movement of people to and from Uganda using illegal crossing points could undo all the hard work they've put in to curb the spread of the Mpox outbreak.
Unfortunately, you discover that because of the border, some of the contacts are actually across the border on the other side in Uganda and not just in Busia. And in fact, among the 4 scares that we've had, including the one that turned out positive, 2 of them were actually manual workers who had crossed in from Uganda, and they are doing some manual work in Kenya here in one of the villages across. And so when we reached out to them, our surveillance teams reached out to them, samples were taken. Unfortunately, before they could even be put somewhere, some of them had already disappeared and crossed back to Uganda.
Kenya confirmed the 5th case of Mpox this week. According to the Health Ministry, 124 samples have so far been submitted to laboratories for testing, with 110 testing negative, while 9 are still being analyzed. Nick Mudimba, CGTN, Malaba, Kenya.